Mondays are really going to be a different experience now that Gabriel DropOut has finally finished, because it was just such a fun and entertaining series with a great cast of characters, character dynamics, and animation that were just always on point. But this episode did exactly what it should have done. I mean, I loved last week's episode, but this week is the perfect ending because they kind of give you a little bit of everything that you've seen throughout this episode. You have some moments with the coffee shop owner. You have all the antics you've known and loved. It has all the individual jokes, the melon bread, everything that kind of had a special charm to the show was in this episode, but in a new way. As Gab is pretty much screwed to the point of no return. Her sister is so damn strong that she could bring the end of the world if she doesn't see what she wants with Gab. And Gab is trying to pull a fast one on her because she doesn't want to have to go home. She doesn't want to have to go to heaven. She doesn't want to have to give up her lazy life. And her sister is rather menacing. I mean, seeing a new character like this, how menacing, how powerful she is, how she was trying to throw on this moe act, and just the overall comedy and how they just kept throwing more and more elements that we've seen throughout past episodes was just really entertaining to see how actually she was seeing through Gab's ploy this entire time, and she was willing to just take her back up to heaven and just yell at her and torture her until she gets back on her feet. Just how they did the whole comedy with her sister, and how the actual way that she gets out of this whole situation is because she's afraid of dogs. So that whole dog, not only did you get an emotional payoff with Satania the previous week, you also get a payoff where Gab gets to keep her lazy life for now because her sister's so afraid of dogs and she's not willing to stay with her sister because she's so terrified. I just thought how they handled the comedy was just perfect because, like mentioned, no matter what your favorite comedy moment was, I'm pretty sure you got something with it. You had every character in their own way, you had just the quirks and tropes that you loved with them, but there was a joke that was pretty much like you have the coffee shop owner where he's trying to talk about his coffee blend and then Gab just shuts him up. There was all those little really high funny moments that I personally really enjoyed. I mean, there could have been a couple that maybe you were really fond of in the previous episodes that they didn't somehow implement in this episode, but at the core, most of the main really funny kind of hit home jokes were in this episode, and that's why I think it's a really good final episode, because not only do you get closure that Gab gets to continue on her shitty life for now, she's gonna continue to be a bum at school, she's gonna steal, Vinay's homework and things like that, but you got kind of closure in your own way. There wasn't really a way to end this series, but I'm glad they kind of introduced a mini antagonist, which happens to be Gab's sister, to then just kind of wrap it up in a nice bow in just a very funny but also satisfying way. I wasn't expecting some sort of like mini kind of antagonist for this episode. I was just expecting another one-off kind of gag episode that would maybe feel more like an OVA, but I'm really happy with what we got for episode 12. I think it was just a really satisfying conclusion, and I really don't have many main complaints. Like, the biggest complaint, there was only that one episode with the other angel who came down to visit Gab, and she was kind of shocked to see what Gab has become. I wasn't really a fan of that one episode, but minus that, every other episode, I loved and adored. I didn't think the animation really dipped. I thought it was very consistent. It was really polished. The voice acting, I thought, was just spot on, especially with the different personalities and quirks that these characters had. And overall, I just found it hilarious and entertaining. And if they make a second season, I would be so happy. But I think I might have to read the manga in the near future because I really like these characters and I'm gonna want to see more of them. But I had a great time reviewing this. I think it was a really funny show. It had a lot of substance to it. And I really hope, in the near future, we'll have at least a series that can fill the void that Gabriel DropOut is going to leave us. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you think it was just okay? Be sure to hit that like button to show your support. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.